Hello and welcome to the breakdown of one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. Not only is it one of the best, it's one of the oldest in all of baseball, second to only the Dodgers and Giants rivalry. No, I'm not talking about the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. In fact, I am talking about the Cardinals and Cubs rivalry, which, to those of you on the East and West Coast, probably doesn't mean much, but here in the Midwest, that's the only rivalry we really care about. The breakdown will be based on three major comparisons. The first will be a look at the current teams. Next, we will dive into the history of these two storied franchises. And finally, we will look at how the two teams fare when it counts, in October. When comparing the two current teams, you gotta first look at the records. And as the records clearly indicate, the Cardinals are 2.5 games better than the Cubs. Cardinals' current record is 20-12, which is far better than the measly 17-14 record of the Cubs. If you want to compare the overall offense, the Cardinals have scored about 20 more runs than the Cubs, about 30 more RBIs. They have more walks and less strikeouts than the Cubs. Far less strikeouts. In addition, their batting average is about 30 points higher. Their on-base percentage is about 50 points higher, and their slugging percentage is about 20% higher. If you want to break down the two clubs' pitching statistics, well, that will favor the Cardinals as well. The ERA of the Cardinals is an entire run less than the Cubs. They walk less, they strike out less, but their walk-to-strikeout ratio is just about equal at 2 walks per strikeout. If you want to talk about the fielding of the two clubs, well, that may go in favor of the Cubs, but only because they have slightly less errors. However, the Cardinals do have far more double plays turned, and their fielding percentage is only slightly less than that of the Cubs. So, to recap so far, we've got the Cardinals leading in the batting department, the pitching department, and only slightly behind in the fielding department for the current 2009 season. Next, we're going to go into a breakdown of the history of these two franchises. When breaking down the history of these two franchises, we're going to first take a look at the categories in which the Cubs lead the Cardinals. And as you can see, there are very few of them. Yes, they have one less 100-loss season, a couple more no-hitters, and one more Cy Young winner, and a couple more strikeout champs. So I guess you could say they've had some better pitching over the years. But the category in which they lead by the most in doesn't really mean anything, because the one head-to-head competition in home runs, the Cardinals won when Mark McGwire hit more home runs than Sammy Sosa in the great home run record chase of 1997. We're next going to take a look at the categories in which the Cardinals lead the Cubs, and as you can see, they are far more numbered. They have 3 more 100-win seasons, more cycles, way more Gold Gloves, more Silver Slugger awards, more batting champs, 1 more Rookie of the Year, twice as many MVPs, and 1 more Hall of Famer. So as you can see, the history of the Cardinals is far more storied than that of the Cubs. So, to recap everything we've got so far, the Cardinals are off to a much better start than the Cubs in the 2009 season, and historically, while the Cubs may have better pitching statistics historically, but really that could be just because of 1 or 2 really good pitchers, and may have a few better batting categories or awards given to their players, the Cardinals have far better fielding statistics historically, and now we're going to move on to when it really counts. In order to break the team's postseason performances down effectively, I've done a series-by-series breakdown of the games that they've won and lost and the series that they've won and lost, and as you can see, the Cardinals are better. They have a winning record in the division series in
both the games and in the series. And while they have a losing record in the NLCS and World Series, they still have a winning record for the series. The Cubs have a losing record in everything. Their overall series win percentage is a horrible 176. Comparing this to the Cardinals' 636 win percentage, I think it's pretty obvious who is better in October.
The fact of the matter is, the Cardinals win when it counts. They may not win awards for having the best players on their team or best pitchers, but the fact is they win in October. They've got rings. The Cubs don't. The Cardinals would fill up all 10 fingers. The Cubs, just 2. Really, the only conclusion you can draw from all of this is that the Cubs suck.